Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In our previous lessons, we discussed the plot of the play, The Black Hermit. We also discussed the characters and the role that each character play in the development of the plot. Today, we are going to be analyzing the themes in the play. And we have about 8 themes we are going to be discussing. And the first one we are going to be looking at is the theme of tradition and custom in the play The Black Hermit by Ngugi Thiongo. The theme of tradition and custom is very dominant in the play, and we saw that a lot of traditional practices played out in the play. The first one was the inheriting of a wife, where according to the Marwa custom, when a man died and his wife is still young, the younger brother will have to inherit the wife and probably give birth to children with the wife. So we saw that Remy, the protagonist in the play, faces this challenge where he was pressured, persuaded by his father and pressured by the elders in the Marwa village to marry the wife of his brother Tony, which the brother married, and the brother died 5 months after the marriage by accident. So though he was not so comfortable with the decision of the elders and the practices, the custom of the people, but he has no option that to even adhere to it and practice it. Even when he complained to the pastor of the Christian community in the Marwa village, the pastor also encourages him to inherit Tony and make Tony his wife. Though he was forced to marry Tony, and then shortly after the marriage, he ran away from the village to the city where he started working as a clerk in an oil company. Though this tradition was archaic, and that was the contention of Remy, because he said the tradition is obsolete and old and it should not be practiced in the post-independent Kenyan society. But we saw that the people of Mariwa never want any colonial influence to temper or to alter their tradition. And they believe so well that a wife that is married to a man is married to the entire family. So when the mom dies, another person in the family has to inherit the wife. So he succumbed to the pressure and then married Tony. Note that he was also in love with Tony, but he never expressed his love until his brother married Tony. So he even accused his mother of letting him marry Tony because he was forced. And when he returned from the city at the end of the novel, he even said he regret marrying Tony, and that was what led to the death of Tony, where she committed suicide. The second one we are going to be looking at is religious and political conflict in the play. There were a lot of religious conflict and political disagreement, conflict and violence in the play. One of the religious conflicts is that the Christian community, led by the pastor, do not acknowledge and practice traditional practices. They do not believe in the custom of the people. Even though the pastor always confesses that he do not believe and he does not want any of the members of the church to believe in the custom or to practice the custom, yet he was the same person that encourages Remy to inherit the wife of his brother Tony. So you can also see the conflict of interest. So we saw also that those who converted to Christianity do not have anything to do with the religious, traditional religion, the pagan that were practiced by the Marwa people. And the Marwa people also, most of the elders were very angry with those who converted to Christianity, because according to the elders, those who have embraced Christianity went against the rules of the tribe, which is to maintain the sanctity of the traditional practices of the tribe, and at the same time not to allow any colonial influence to alter their beliefs. But now some of them have believed in Christian religion, and that is another conflict in the in the play. And we also saw political conflict. Why the elders were so disturbed that they do not have anybody representing them in the government, in the Uhuru government. And so they want Remi to return to the village to come and represent them. So we saw that two groups of people want Remi to come back to the village. The religious people represented by the pastor and the mother of Remi Uyobi. And then we saw the elders representing the political intention of the tribe. Now, the elders want Remi to return to the village to come and represent them politically. Why the pastor and the mother of Uyobi also wanted Remi, and the mother of Remi Uyobi also wanted Remi to return to the village to come and become a pastor. The pastor was nursing the intention that he is getting old and it is Remi that will take over the leadership of the church from him. Remi is educated and is a young man, so he has all the qualities to take over from the pastor in the near future. And that was another clash. So why both the elders representing the political group went to the village, went to the city to go and persuade Remi to the village, they went with their charm. And we also saw that the pastor also went to go and beg Remi to return to the village with his Bible. He left his Bible there, and the elder also left their charm. And on the stage, we saw that Remi was holding both the charm and the Bible. So you can see the conflict of politics, traditional practices, and religion, especially the Christian religion. Now, another theme in the novel is that of poverty and economic austerity. During the colonial period, the people of Marwa were taxed. They pay heavy tax, and that even aggravated the poverty in their village. And they were hoping that now that they have gained independence, and the government now is self-government ruled by Kenyans, they are going to be free from the tax, and at the same time there will be economic development in their community. Unfortunately for them, the tax even increased, and the poverty get worsened. So they do not have basic amenities such as good water or electricity, and at the same time they do not have food to eat. But the government was promising that it will build a road, it will construct road that will pass through the village. Though we saw the leader of the elder complain that what is the benefit of a road to somebody that do not have food to eat? So you could see the situation that the Marwa people found themselves here. There is post-independent disillusionment, where they hope that independence will bring economic boom, but rather independence bring more economic austerity. The tax they pay before is still the tax they are paying. So it was a challenging moment for them, and we saw that the poverty in the land increases, and the economic woes even doubles during the self-government by the Africanist Party. So the Africanist Party do not take any measure to lessen the tax or to even reduce the poverty level in the country, and to even make any attempt to bring about economic development to all the stratas, all the villages and the communities in the country. So we saw that the Marwa people experience a lot of poverty and economic austerity. Another one is that of tribalism. Tribalism is very dominant in the novel. In the novel, we have a lot of tribes. We have the Marwa tribe, we have the Unjobe tribe. In fact, Remi has a friend called Omange, who is from the Unjobe tribe. In the village, the Unjobe tribe and the Marwa tribe are at loggerhead. They do not even practice any form of unity or having anything in common. Then when Omange accompanied Remi to the village, and Remi was preaching vigorously against tribalism, Omange was encouraging him to do so, because the tribalism has divided the people and it has hampered any form of development. So we saw that one of the mission of Remy is to bridge the gap of tribalism among the tribes, and also to ensure that there is religious harmony, especially between the Christians and the traditionalists. So we saw that tribalism is dominant in the novel also, and every tribe is more concerned. In fact, a tribe that does not have somebody representing them in the government will not have any development attracted to their community or village. And that was the pain of the elders of Marwa, because they do not have anybody representing them. So they want Remy to return to the village to come and represent them in the government. And Remy is also part of the ruling party, the Africanist party, and he's also inclined with the ideology of the prime minister. So he has to return and lead his people politically, because they do not have anybody representing them, and the government have turned deaf ears to them because nobody is speaking for them at the federal level. So there is no school. Why other tribes that have people representing them in the government have built school in those communities and villages? In the Marwa village, there is none. In the Marwa tribe, no school, no any hospital. The government was just promising that it will be the hospital, but we see none. So there's no basic social services for children, for the adult, for anybody. So, and it is the elders attributed it to tribalism, because whoever that win a contract from the government will take it to his village to go and develop. Then another one is that of marginalization of women. In fact, women in the Marwa tribe are subjected to a semi-slavery. We saw it in the life of Tony, we saw it in the life of Uyobi, and even the woman, the village woman in the play also, we saw it in her life. Because women do not have choice. You can imagine that why Tony perceives that Remy did not love her. She was bounded by the tradition to stay in the marriage and also to be wife of Remy, even though Remy did not love her. And she must be inherited according to the tradition. So all those are forms of marginalization and oppression of women. Another one we saw is that, in fact, women were told about their position in the play. They have to be good wife to their husband and then take good care of their children. These are the two roles assigned for women in the Marwa tribe according to the play. So we saw that the social status of women in the pre-colonial era, in the colonial era, and then in the post-independent era do not change. It is still maintained across the tribes. That is, women are just satisfy your husband, take care of your husband, and then bear children and nurse them up. So women were abused, and that was even the reason why Tony committed suicide, because the marginalization and the oppression of the woman, she could no longer bear it. Bounded by tradition, and then she has to take her life to seek for solace somewhere outside the world. And another one is love and deception. Love and deception are also dominant themes in the novel. We saw that Jane loves Remy sincerely, even though Jane is a European woman. She loves, regardless of skin, she loves Remy with all her heart and want to get married to Remy. But Remy having the intention that, okay, what is existing between him and Jane is just a temporal relationship. Do not commit himself to it. He knew he is married to Tony in the village, and so he is not planning to marry Jane. And that was why he gave the excuse that Jane should not follow him to his village, because Jane will not be able to practice the tradition of the Marwa. And Jane, when Jane pressured him so much, then he now revealed the secret that he is married to a lady he does not love in the village, or the lady that does not love sin in the village. And Remy and Jane blamed Remy for not telling her at the beginning of their relationship. Then we saw that he left Remy and told Remy to go and meet his little wives in the village. So we could see that the relationship between Jane and Remy was deceiving Jane, just to have a kind of affair with her, and then later leaves her. Remy knew that if he told Jane about the relationship, about the marriage between him and Tony, Jane will not accept the relationship. The relationship will not go forth. And that was why he hid it until when he could no longer hid it again. So he has to reveal it at that time. So these are the major 6 themes we discussed. In our subsequent lesson, we are going to be discussing the literary devices used in the play. So make sure you click the notification bell so that when it is uploaded, you will get notified. Okay? So have a great day, and make sure, remember to subscribe as well.